There are 312 notifications waiting for you, and you haven't even opened your eyes yet. It's 6:47 in the morning. Your phone is on the kitchen counter, 2 rooms away, because last night, sometime around midnight, you read an article that said leaving it in the bedroom is destroying your sleep architecture, and you believed that article hard enough to walk barefoot across the cold tile and put the thing down where you couldn't reach it. You felt good about that. You felt like a person who had taken his life back. For about 4 minutes. Now it is the morning, and you are lying in the half-dark, and you can feel the phone breathing in the next room. You can feel it the way a person sleeping in a strange house feels another person breathing in the dark. You are not awake yet, but you are already losing. Your name, in this story, is Noah Cassidy. You are 33 years old. You live in a 1-bedroom apartment in East Austin that costs you $2,400 a month, which is more than your father paid for the entire house you grew up in over the entire span of his 30-year mortgage. You work, ostensibly, in content. That is the word the recruiter used in 2016, and it is still the word you use at parties, even though by now you understand that __quote _0__ is a word that means the human-shaped raw material that platforms refine into ad inventory. You did not understand that at 24. You understand it now. You understand it the way a slaughterhouse cow would understand the word "one" if it could read. You are going to get up in a moment. You are going to walk into the kitchen. You are going to flip the phone over, and you are going to see the lock screen, and you are going to feel a small, bright, electric pulse of attention go off in your chest, the way a fish feels a hook. And you are going to tell yourself, as you have told yourself every morning for the last 9 years, that this is fine, that this is the cost of being employed, that the people who don't do this are falling behind. You are going to beat her. Still felt like a town square and not a slot machine. And the dopamine of that one viral post is, even now, 6 years later, the thing he is chasing every single time he opens the app. He doesn't know that yet. You don't know it yet either. You think you're chasing the work. You're not. You're chasing the chemical the work made the first time it landed. Ethan's screen time, in his first month at the media company, is 12 hours and 40 minutes. He sleeps about 5.5. He eats lunch at his desk every day, scrolling, because lunch with coworkers feels like a waste of input. He is not unhappy. That's the part nobody mentions in stories like this. And so I am going to mention it now, and I am going to keep mentioning it, because if I don't, you will not believe me. Ethan is not unhappy. Noah is not unhappy. They are in fact having the time of their lives. The trap is not that you are miserable. The trap is that you are happy in exactly the way the system needs you to be happy in order to keep feeding off you. That is the end of level 1. Both of them are 24. Both of them are chosen. Both of them have a phone in their pocket that has begun, very quietly, to learn them. You don't know this yet. Neither do they. 2 years pass. Noah is 26. It is a Tuesday afternoon in October of 2018. He is sitting in the same office, at the same desk, under the same matte black ductwork, and he has just posted a thread, 3 minutes long, vertical video, his face lit by the ring light, his voice doing the slightly faster, slightly higher-pitched version of itself that the algorithm has taught him is the version that travels, about a piece of legislation moving through the Texas State Senate. He shot it on his lunch break. He edited it on the train. He posted it at 1:14 p.m., which is, according to the analytics dashboard he has been studying, the way a medieval monk studied scripture, the optimal posting window for his demographic on a Tuesday. By 3 p.m., the thread has 40,000 views. By 6 p.m., it has 210,000. By the time Noah goes to bed that night, and he does eventually go to bed, around 1:15 in the morning, the phone on the pillow next to his face, the number is 840,000, and it is still climbing. And he can feel it climbing. He can feel each refresh of the page the way a gambler feels the slot machine pulling, And somewhere in his brain, in a region he does not know the name of, a flood of dopamine is hitting receptors that, 2 years ago, used to fire at the smell of his mother's cooking and the laughter of his college roommate and the first warm day of spring. And those receptors, tonight, are being washed clean by a number on a screen. By Wednesday morning, the thread has 1,200,000 views. Noah's mother forwards it to him. She writes __quote_2__. Noah's mother has never used the word incredible about anything Noah has ever done. Noah reads the message 3 times. He does not cry. He almost cries. He saves the screenshot. He still has it. He showed it to me in March at the coffee shop on East Cesar Chavez, and his hand shook a little when he scrolled to find it. Even now, even after everything. 3 recruiters slide into his DMs over the next 48 hours. One of them is from a competitor offering him $68,000 a year, a $20,000 raise, plus equity, plus a content budget. Noah uses the offer to negotiate his current salary up to $62,000. He stays. He does not understand, yet, that he has just learned a lesson that will define the next 4 years of his life. The way to get more money and more respect inside the system is to feed the system more of yourself. The system has shown him the price list. He has read it. He has agreed to the terms. You felt this once. Maybe not at this scale, but you felt it. The first time something you made got more attention than you thought it would. The first time a stranger said, "I follow you." The first time the algorithm picked you up by the scruff of the neck and held you out into the light and said, "Look at this one. Look how good this one is." You felt the warmth of that light. And then, a week later, when the next thing you posted got crickets, you felt the cold of the light being taken away. You did not call that cold a withdrawal. You did not have the word for it. You called it, "I should have posted earlier in the day," or "The algorithm is weird right now," or "I need to be more consistent." But it was a withdrawal. Your brain, by then, had already adjusted its baseline. Ethan, in Brooklyn, is having his version of this exact week on his exact same timeline. His thread is about a Senate hearing. It does 1.4 million views. He gets a book agent. He signs with the agent 2 weeks later. The advance, when it comes, is $45,000, half on signing, half on delivery. And he uses the first half to move out of the apartment with the IKEA bookshelf and into a 1-bedroom in the East Village that he can almost afford. If he keeps posting, if he keeps the engagement up, if he keeps feeding the thing that is now, officially, feeding him. This is the moment, right here, both of them, age 26, in October of 2018. This is the moment where the road forks, and neither of them knows it has forked, because at this point, the 2 paths still look identical. They are both successful. They are both ascendant. They are both, in the language of the platforms, winning. The fork is not visible for another 4 years, but it has already happened. Level 3, the crack. Noah is 28. It is the spring of 2020. You remember the spring of 2020. Everyone does. The world has gone quiet outside, and the world has gone deafening inside the screen. And Noah, alone in a 1-bedroom in East Austin, is on the phone for 16 hours a day. Not figuratively. 16 hours. He has the data. The phone tells him. And here is what he notices for the first time, and then quickly stops noticing, because noticing it is unbearable. He cannot read. Not cannot read in the sense of illiteracy. Cannot read in the sense that he sits down with a book he bought, a book he wanted to read, a book about American political history that he chose in a bookstore with his own hand because the topic interested him. And he reads 2 paragraphs, and then his hand moves to the phone on the coffee table, and he is on the phone, and he doesn't remember reaching for it, and he doesn't remember the decision to reach, and when he looks up, 11 minutes have passed, and he has to start the chapter over. And then he reads 2 more paragraphs. And then his hand moves again, The first time this happens, he laughs at himself. He says, out loud in the empty apartment, "Get it together, Cassidy." He puts the phone in another room. He comes back. He reads 4 paragraphs this time. Then he stands up, walks to the other room, retrieves the phone, comes back to the couch, and reads no more paragraphs that day. He does not laugh the second time it happens, or the third. By the 10th time, he has stopped trying. He tells himself he doesn't have time to read books anymore. He tells himself he gets his information from threads now, from podcasts at 1.5 speed, from the cumulative drip of the feed. He tells himself this is just what literacy looks like in 2020. He is lying to himself, and he knows he is lying to himself. And he chooses not to look at the lie, because looking at the lie would require him to do something about it. And doing something about it would require him to turn the phone off. And turning the phone off would mean what? It would mean income, gone. Audience, gone. The version of himself that everyone he knows has agreed to call ___, quote _12 ___, gone. Replaced with whatever is left when the screen goes dark. And he does not know anymore what is left. Ethan, in Brooklyn in the same spring, is having a parallel crack, and his crack is louder because Ethan's body is louder. Ethan, who has been writing his book on top of his full-time job, who has been posting 4 times a day, who has been doing podcast appearances at 6 in the morning before his actual work starts, develops a tremor in his left hand. He notices it for the first time when he is holding his coffee. It is small, it is not constant. He thinks, I am tired. He thinks, I need a vacation. He does not take a vacation. He takes instead a higher dose of the caffeine pills he has been taking since the book deal, and he learns to type with his right hand for the next several weeks, and the tremor goes away, and he forgets it ever happened. He will remember it. This is the part of the story where you, in your own life, in the chair you are sitting in right now, can probably remember your own version of the tremor and the unread book. Not the same symptoms, yours. The thing you stopped being able to do. The friend you stopped being able to call. The hour of the morning you used to like, and now spend in a different way. You did not call it a crack at the time. You called it growing up. You called it adjusting. You called it the way things are now. 47 months. That's how long Noah's cortisol baseline has been elevated by the time anyone measures it, which won't be for another 2 years, when a doctor in Austin will look at his blood work and frown and say, and Noah will say, honestly, and the doctor will say, but that is later. Right now, in the spring of 2020, Noah does not know his cortisol is elevated. He just knows he wakes up at 4 in the morning every day with his heart pounding for no reason. And he reaches for the phone, and the phone, very kindly, very efficiently, gives him a reason. 312 of them, on average, by now. This is level 3. The reality is leaking. He is adapting. He is not noticing. He is, in fact, becoming the kind of person who cannot notice. The 4th level is the math. Every story like this has the moment where the protagonist sits down and counts. In the financial stories, it's a spreadsheet. In the addiction stories, it's a notebook of how much was spent. In Noah's story, the math is harder, because the currency is attention, and attention is hard to count. And the platforms are designed, intentionally, by people who get paid to design it this way, to make the counting opaque. But Noah counts anyway. He counts because of Ethan. It is October of 2022. Noah is 30. Ethan is 30. The book that Ethan signed for in 2018 has been out for 14 months. It did well. Not enormously well, but well. He has 500,000 followers. He is on television sometimes. He is, in the language of their generation, a person. And then Ethan posts, on a Friday afternoon, a photo from a hospital bed. The caption is upbeat. The caption is brand friendly. The caption thanks a sponsor, a mattress company, of all things, for sending him a bedding upgrade to the hospital, because Ethan is going to be there for a while. And Ethan, even from the hospital, is monetizing. The diagnosis, he says, is exhaustion. He uses that word, exhaustion. He does not use the word the doctors used, which Noah will learn 2 months later from Ethan's older sister Marisol in a hospital cafeteria in November of 2023, when the second hospitalization is the one that does not go upbeat. The word the doctors used was cardiomyopathy. The word the doctors used was quote, _17___. Ethan was 30 years old. His heart was the heart of a man twice his age. His heart was the heart of a man who had been running for 6 years on a chemical schedule that no human body has ever been asked to run on. Noah sees the upbeat post. Noah sees the tagged mattress company. Noah sits at his kitchen table in East Austin on a Friday night in October, and he does not move for a long time. Then he opens a notebook, a paper one. He has not written in a paper notebook in 4 years. The pen feels strange in his hand. He writes at the top of the page, ___, quote, _18___, and then he counts 312 notifications a day, on average, across the last 12 months. He has the data because the phone keeps the data, because the phone is a more honest accountant than he is. 23 seconds. The average refocus cost after a single interruption before the brain returns to whatever it was doing before. That number is from a study by a researcher named Gloria Mark at the University of California, Irvine, which Noah has read about in 3 different articles over the years and never until tonight multiplied out. 312 times 23 equals 7,176 seconds, which is 119 minutes, which is just under 2 hours every day of refocus cost. Not the time spent on the phone, the time spent climbing back out of the phone into whatever life he was supposed to be living. 2 hours a day, 730 hours a year. Across 9 years of this work, more than 6,000 hours. The equivalent, if you stack it, of 3 full-time work years. 3 full-time work years, Noah writes in the notebook, of climbing. And then he writes the second number, which is the number that breaks him. The book he could not finish reading. The novel his college roommate, Daniel Yee, recommended to him in 2017. Daniel, who is now a public defender in El Paso, who reads 40 books a year, who sends Noah a Christmas card every December with a list of his favorites. Daniel's recommended novel, which Noah bought in 2018 and started 7 separate times and never finished. He writes that down in the notebook. He writes, 1 book, 5 years, cannot finish. And then he writes very small at the bottom, I do not know who I am when no one is watching. Something breaks in him. It is not loud, it does not have a sound. It is the quiet breaking of a thing that has been bearing weight for a long time and has decided, without consulting him, that it is done. This is level 4. The math. You have done your version of this math, maybe not on paper, maybe in the shower, or at 4 in the morning, or in the car at a red light. The moment you let yourself add up, even for a second, what the thing you cannot stop doing is actually costing you. And the moment, immediately after, when you put the calculation away, because the answer was unbearable, and you went back to doing it. Noah did not put the calculation away. That is the only thing that separates him from Ethan. That is the only thing that separates the path that ends with you watching this video from the path that ends with a sister in a hospital cafeteria. He did not put it away. He looked at it. He kept looking. Level 5 is the waiting. 3:14 in the morning on a Tuesday in February of 2023. Noah is in the kitchen of the apartment in East Austin. The lights are off because he doesn't want to wake himself up any more than he already is. The phone is on the counter, face down. He has been sitting at the kitchen table for 40 minutes, doing nothing. Not reading, not writing, not on the phone, just sitting. His hands are shaking, slightly, the way Ethan's used to shake. He notices the shaking. He doesn't reach for anything to stop it. He has known for 4 months, since the night of the math, that he is going to have to leave. Leave the work. Leave the platforms. Leave the version of himself the algorithm has been authoring on his behalf since he was 24. He has known it the way you know a death is coming when the diagnosis is given. The knowing does not require action. The knowing only requires that you sit with it and let it become real, and let the part of you that was constructed by the thing you are leaving begin to grieve itself. Because that is what is happening in the kitchen, in the dark, at 3:14 a.m. He is grieving Noah Cassidy. The Noah Cassidy who got the recruiter email. The Noah Cassidy whose mother said, quote, 19, quote. The Noah Cassidy who, at 26, in October of 2018, watched a number climb past 1 million and felt, for the first time in his life, that he had become someone. That Noah is dying in this kitchen. He has been dying for months. And the dying is taking longer than Noah expected, because that Noah does not want to go. The audience expects a Noah that no longer exists inside him. That is the sentence he writes when he finally does write something at 3:41 a.m. on a piece of paper with the same pen as before. There is no version of going back. The Noah they want is gone. The only Noah he can be from now on is the one who walked away. And that Noah does not yet have a face. You have sat in this kitchen. Maybe yours was a kitchen. Maybe it was a parked car, or the side of a bed, or the shower with the water running so no one would hear. You sat with a thing you knew you were going to have to do and could not yet do, and the weight of it was not a weight you could lift, only a weight you could accompany, until it decided, on its own, that the time had come. The phone, on the counter, does not light up. Noah has, the night before, turned off all notifications for the first time in 9 years. Not silenced, off. The phone, at 3:14 a.m., is just an object, a piece of glass and aluminum. It sits there. It does not breathe. And neither, for a long, quiet moment, does he. Level 6 is the deletion. It is a Tuesday in March of 2023, 3 weeks after the kitchen. Noah is at his desk in the apartment at 10:47 in the morning. He has not told anyone what he is about to do. He has not announced it. He has not made a farewell post. He has, in fact, done the exact opposite of what every person in his industry has ever told him to do at moments like this, which is to quote 20 and quote 21 and quote 22. He is going to do none of those things. He is going to disappear the way a person used to be able to disappear. Before disappearing became a thing you had to perform. He opens the phone. He goes into settings. He goes into the list of installed apps. He deletes them, one by one, in the order he installed them. The dating app, first, because it was the first. Then the work platform. Then the second work platform. Then the analytics dashboard. Then the photo platform that owns the video platform that he was building his career on. Then the video platform itself. Then the messaging app that he used for sources. Then the second messaging app, which he used for closer sources. Then the productivity app that was supposed to silence the other apps. Then the meditation app he installed to manage the anxiety that the other apps caused. 14 apps. It takes him about 9 minutes. He is not crying. He is not shaking. He is, in a way he has not felt in nearly a decade, calm. When the last one is gone, he sets the phone on the desk, screen up, and he watches it for about a minute. It does not light up. It does not buzz. It is a phone the way phones used to be, before they became what they became. A small slab of glass that does, now, almost nothing. He stands up. He walks to the kitchen. He makes coffee. He drinks it standing at the counter, looking out the window at the live oak in the courtyard, which he has lived next to for 4 years and has never, until this morning, actually looked at. The leaves are moving. He watches them move. He does not reach for anything. Ethan, in this same week, is in a hospital again for the second time. The cardiomyopathy is worse. The doctors are using a different word now. Marisol, his sister, is flying in from Denver. The brand sponsorships are quietly being unwound by Ethan's manager, who is telling everyone that Ethan is taking some time. Ethan does not know yet how much time. He will find out. The second hospitalization will be the one that ends the career, not by his choice. By the bodies. Noah does not know any of this yet. On the Tuesday morning in March, in the kitchen with the coffee. He will find out in November, 8 months later, when Marisol calls him out of the blue because he and Ethan exchanged DMs once in 2019, and Marisol has been calling everyone in Ethan's contacts. He will fly to New York. He will sit in the cafeteria. He will hear the story. He will come home and he will not write about it, because writing about it would be the old Noah's reflex. And the new Noah, the one in the kitchen with the coffee, the one who has not yet been named, is learning a different reflex. The reflex is, not everything that happens to you has to become content. Some things you are allowed to just live through. This is level 6, the unexpected lightness. Level 7 is now. Noah is 33 years old. It is the morning of the day this video is being recorded. He is sitting in a small home office, in a different apartment, in a different part of Austin. He moved 6 months after the deletion because the old apartment was full of the old self and he could not work there anymore. He has a job, a quiet one, doing research for a small nonprofit. He makes $38,000 a year, which is less than he made at 24, and it is, by any measure the algorithm would recognize, a step backward. By any measure the algorithm would recognize, his life has ended. By every measure that does not belong to the algorithm, his life has begun. He reads books now. He reads them all the way through. The novel Daniel Yee recommended to him in 2017, he finished it, finally, in the summer of 2023. It took him 11 days. He read it in paper. He underlined things. He called Daniel afterward, on the phone, with his voice, and they talked for an hour and 20 minutes, which is longer than they had spoken in any one stretch since college. He sleeps about 7.5 hours a night. His resting heart rate, which used to be 84, is now 61. His doctor, the same one who frowned at the blood work 2 years ago, looked at his most recent results in October and said, quote 24. Noah did not explain what he was doing. The thing he was doing did not have a name that the doctor would have understood as medicine. It was not medicine. It was the absence of a poison. Here is what he wants you to know. Here is what he asked me to put at the end of this episode when we sat in the coffee shop on East Cesar Chavez in March, and he had the screenshot of his mother's text from 2018 still saved on the phone, because some artifacts you keep, not as trophies, but as evidence of a person who used to live in your body. He said, "Your attention is the last thing you own, until it isn't." He said, "I thought for 9 years that I was building a career. I was, in fact, being built by a system into a shape that the system needed in order to sell things. The career was the lure. The shape was the product. The product was me. And the moment I stopped being a profitable shape, the system was going to discard me anyway." Ethan didn't quit. Ethan was discarded. The body did the quitting, his mind would not. That is what happened to Ethan, and it is what was going to happen to me on a slightly slower timeline. And the only difference between the two of us is that I, for reasons I cannot fully explain, sat down at a kitchen table in February at 3:14 a.m. and let myself feel how much of me had already been eaten. He said, "I am not telling you to delete your phone. I am telling you that the question is not whether the phone is good or bad. The question is whether the person you become, on the schedule the phone is putting you on, is a person you can live inside of for the next 40 years. Because 40 years is a long time to be a shape." He said, last, "The screen does not have to light up for you to be real. That was the thing I did not know at 24. That was the thing nobody told me. I am telling you now. It is 6:47 in the morning. Your phone is on the kitchen counter, 2 rooms away. There are 312 notifications waiting. Or there aren't. or there are more. And it doesn't matter, because you are lying in the half dark, and the room is quiet, and your chest is rising and falling, and no one is watching, and no one needs to be watching, and the screen, for once, doesn't light up. And neither do you. And that is enough. That is the thing nobody told you at 24. That is the thing the system cannot afford for you to learn, because the moment you learn it, you stop being a profitable shape. You become, instead, a person. A small, quiet, unremarkable, unmonetizable person sitting in a kitchen, watching a tree move outside a window, breathing. Your attention is the last thing you own, until it isn't. Noah Cassidy still lives in Austin. He does not have a public account on any platform. He asked that his last name be changed for this episode, and we changed it. The numbers in his story are real. The dates are real. The kitchen is real. The notebook is in a drawer in his desk, and on the night I interviewed him, in March, he took it out and read me, in his own voice, the sentence at the bottom of the page. I do not know who I am when no one is watching. He told me he can answer that question now. He did not tell me the answer. I did not ask. Some things you are allowed to just live through. Ethan Brackett survived the second hospitalization. He is, as of the recording of this episode, in cardiac rehabilitation in Denver, where his sister lives. He is 33 years old. He has not posted publicly in 14 months. The book is out of print. The mattress company unwound the sponsorship quietly in a paragraph buried on page 4 of an SEC filing in a list of discontinued partnerships that no one read. I asked Marisol in the hospital cafeteria in November what she wanted me to say about her brother in this episode, if I said anything at all. She thought about it for a long time. Then she said, "Tell them he was good at it. Tell them that's the whole problem. He was good at it, and it ate him anyway. Tell them being good at it is not the protection they think it is." That is the sentence I leave you with. The system does not punish the people who are bad at it. The system punishes the people who are good at it by giving them more of it, until there is nothing of them left. Your attention is the last thing you own, until it isn't. This was episode 18. Next week, episode 19. The rooms full of people that you are now, after all of this, afraid to walk into. The strange grief of a generation that has perfected the art of being seen and lost the art of being together. Why the parties feel harder than they used to. Why the silences in the room sound louder than the silences in the feed. Why the loneliness, when it finally arrives, does not feel like loneliness. It feels like withdrawal. I'll see you there. I'm Wes Calder. Put the phone down. Breathe.